In a Zoom interview with Puff TV on current international issues, a UK-based Nigerian, Dr. Bunmi Olorunfemi, shares his views. Responding to the claim by an American congressman that aid from the U.S. was used to sponsor Boko Haram in Nigeria, Dr. Olorunfemi says that while aid was not given to sponsor Boko Haram, the possibility of its diversion to that purpose cannot be ruled out, since some person was claimed to have said that the North is finished without Boko Haram.
A lot of money that is meant for interventions from foreign governments may be diverted. I would be surprised if the money from USAID was specifically directed for the sponsor of terrorism. I would be surprised. But in terms of diversion of the money for unrecognized uses, that is highly possible. But some people felt that Boko Haram should not be countered because any attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the North. Some people said that. So they kind of make sure that the government could not fully, you know how long it took even for bandits to be declared as terrorists? They were not called bandits, they were called bandits, and some people fought against it that they should not be declared as terrorists.
Throwing more light on the trending issue of land seizure from white landowners for blacks in South Africa, Dr. Olorunfemi says it is not land seizure as claimed, but a reallocation of unused land by government to those who need it for developmental purposes.
The issue of land redistribution in South Africa, Zimbabwe, is an historical matter. And we all know that South Africa has been a bit slow in that regard, whereas a country like Zimbabwe went ahead and did it very drastically, and the Western world, Europe and US, all responded with sanctions against South Africa, against Zimbabwe at that time, which particularly led to the collapse of the Zimbabwe economy. But the South African land policy, which I've had the privilege of listening to informed reviews, even from white farmers. It's not really about land grabbing. Mostly, there's focus on land that is not being utilized. From what I understand, land that is not being used, any land that is being used and has proper ownership, the government was going to follow due process, and the people in South Africa are not really complaining.
On whether he envisions a fundamental change in governance from Trump's first experience as America's president, Dr. Olorunfemi says as a more experienced person in his second term in office, Donald Trump will be more shrewd in negotiation, and aid will be given only in terms of what seekers can offer in return. He opines that Africa, in any case, does not need aid from the West, considering what she has. The continent, according to him, should look inwards for help by designing progressive developmental policies and encouraging regime of shrewd management of resources and accountability.
But what we have now is somebody that now has a public sector administrative links. So it's more kind of suave, it's more enlightened about the operations of governance. It might still toe along the same line as his previous term in office, but it will probably walk the rope a bit more smoothly this time around in terms of getting things done.
Dr. Olorunfemi sees a more self-aware America in light of Trump's policies. America that will be revalued for what and the world's reckoning and the health of its youth. A healthy, drug-free America.
Looking at some of the actions he's taken so far, whether we like it or not, people are beginning to take America seriously in terms of the policies and activities coming from the Oval Office, from the presidency. There's a lot of bites to the power now. So we can see that, we saw the way they negotiated he dealt with the Mexico border issue, the way he dealt with the Canadian border issue as well. We saw the whole of Europe is having a meeting, emergency meeting today because of what President Trump is doing and because of his policies. Everybody is making adjustments. The Middle East, they are making adjustments. So, and I think a lot of other countries are responding as well. So, and in terms of, for example, some of the trade tariffs that is imposing, what he's saying is that America has a trade deficit with some of these countries, and he wants to reverse that. What he's saying, some of the instances is that, okay, your country, a lot of illicit drugs, dangerous drugs that are flooding American markets and turning a lot of young people into drug addicts, they are coming from your country. I want your government to do something about it. If you don't do something about it, I'm going to punish you financially.
Far from seeing Trump's position on the Gaza issue as a definitive stance, Olorunfemi sees it as a sleight of hand in negotiation to get the better bargain with the Palestinians and not an intended action.
It can be done. But the question is, will it be done? Is it the right solution? As they say in African proverb, they said, cutting off the head may not be the best solution for headache. The policy is not going to be acceptable other than by military occupation enforcement. And that is very, very costly for America, for the whole world. So the whole place is probably going to be engulfed with fire, really. So I do think it's something that can be done. But in terms of as a negotiation pathway, I believe that is what President Trump is doing. He's using that as a start of negotiation. Okay, what if we move all of you out? Okay, don't move us out. Let's talk. So he's just giving them an extreme position to start negotiation from. And then, so the Middle East, the Arab world, including Palestinians, will now come to the table and say, okay, well, we don't want you to do that. This is the alternative. This can be done. So I'm not convinced that President Trump has any full intention of doing that. But I believe if America wants to do that, it's got enough military power and financial muscle to do it. But I don't think he will go ahead and do that. I believe it's just a negotiation tool.
Tennyson Omologe reporting for POF TV.
People of the Fountain.